Hello everyone. In this issue we look at a story of an affair that can kill you. The Window of the Sleeper. Terry is a construction engineer. He's a great helper to his boss at work. In life, he takes the pressure off his boss's pillow. He is in a lover's relationship with his boss's wife, Lisa. At night, the two of them are in Terry's apartment until late at night. After 2 o'clock, Terry had just gotten up to take a shower. Lisa heard a woman screaming from outside. She ran to the window and looked downstairs. She saw a mugger violating a girl. Lisa shouted for Terry to come over and opened the window as hard as she could. The mugger heard the noise. He looked up and Lisa looked at him for a few seconds and then fled. Lisa's actions allowed the girl to escape with her life. She then recounted the frightening scene to Terry and said she got a good look at the assailant. The assailant was in his 20s with pale red hair, combed back in the shape of a duck's tail. Lisa was too scared to stay. Terry dropped her off downstairs and watched her drive away. The next day Terry learned from the newspaper another girl had been killed last night. It happened just a few blocks away from his apartment. The time was about half an hour after the redhead escaped. Terry and Lisa speculated that the killer might be the redhead. The red-haired man was unsuccessful in his first attack and ran a few blocks away to do it again. Lisa was the only eyewitness. She thinks he should tell the police what he saw, but she was afraid that her affair with Terry would be exposed. That's when Terry decided that he would be the one to report the crime, lying that he was a witness to the attack. This gives the police a clue and protects Lisa. Lisa also thinks this is a great idea, but what Terry didn't realize was that this decision would get him into big trouble. 2 detectives soon came to Terry's door to give him a statement. Terry followed Lisa's story. The detectives were told of the assailant's physical appearance and clothing. The detectives wondered why Terry did not call the police at that time. Terry explained that he didn't think it would be that serious until he saw the news of the murder of another girl. Thinking there was a connection, he chose to call the police. The detective was very grateful to Terry for providing them with important information. Terry learned from the detective how the girl was killed. The girl was downstairs when she kissed her boyfriend goodbye. When she was about to go home, she found that the lock on the door of her flat had been broken beforehand. The girl could not open the door, so she went around to the side door and was attacked by the assailant. The girl was raped and beaten to death and then dumped. Lisa learns of the murderer's brutal methods. She felt that Terry had done the right thing. They thought they had given the information and everything would be fine. But the next day, the police called Terry to the police station to identify the suspect. The reason was that the attack happened so suddenly. The assailant was attacked from behind, so the victim, Lily, did not see the face of the assailant. The matter is very important. Terry did not dare to identify. The detective was a little disappointed. According to Terry's detailed description of the assailants, there is no reason not to recognize, and one of the red-haired man is the detective's key suspect, because this person's appearance is not only consistent with Terry's description and a previous record. Terry left the police station, saw the red-haired man just in the identification room, also drove away. It will be followed by a ghost to the other person's residence. Then he stayed outside all night, continue to follow after dawn. See the red-haired man working at the shipyard. Terry then picked up Lisa and asked her to identify. Lisa said she wasn't sure if it was this guy, and told Terry to stay out of the way. However, Terry was not satisfied. At night he followed the red-haired man to a bar. Then he hid in the shadows and watched the other man's every move. The red-haired man's eyes wandered from girl to girl, seems to be looking for a suitable target. At that moment a girl was dancing in the middle of the bar and attracted everyone's attention. The red-haired man stared at the girl for a while and slowly approached the girl's seat. At that moment, the waiter accidentally spilled his drink on Terry. While talking, Terry looked up. The red-haired man disappeared. Chase out of the bar and the other car is gone. Terry guarded the red-haired man's place. When the red-haired man returned, he did not find unusual circumstances and left. On the way home, Terry saw the police were dealing with a murder. Suddenly a bad feeling in his heart. Then he went through the dead man's bracelet and the color of his hair, recognized that it was the girl who was dancing in the bar. Terry decided that the red-haired man was the murderer, so he came to the police. But he did not say the stalking thing, just identified the assailant who attacked Lily that night as the red-haired man. The police then applied for a search warrant, but unfortunately no evidence was found to prove that the red-haired man had contact with the murdered girl. The prosecutor had to change the murder case to an assault case to prosecute the red-haired man. This required Terry to testify as an eyewitness. Terry approaches Lisa to discuss the matter. Lisa is worried about losing her material life by implicating herself. She complained that Terry should not play hero. However, She eventually expressed her support for Terry and decided to go to the trial to help Terry. The prosecutor was confident of winning the trial, but the red-haired man's defense attorney is also prepared. After Terry gave a detailed account of the redhead's attack on Lily, the lawyer offered to do a little experiment at the scene. First he asked Terry to take off his contact lenses. The prosecutor was caught off guard by this remark, although the motor vehicle registration certificate states that Terry is nearsighted, but the prosecutor was careless enough not to notice this problem. Even Lisa didn't know that Terry wore contact lenses. According to the measurements, the distance from Terry's bedroom window to the site of the attack was 22 meters. Then, the lawyer thought less than 20 meters away from Terry. Have someone turn off the headlights, recreate the light environment at the time of the crime, then ask Terry to say what object he was holding. Terry is highly nearsighted. Without his contact lenses, he was almost blind. Lisa anxiously gestured to prompt. Unfortunately, Terry could not read her gestures and mouth. To make matters worse, the redhead followed Terry's line of sight and noticed Lisa in the gallery, and recognized Lisa as the witness of the night. The two lawyers then turned on all the lights. Terry still failed to identify her. This shows that Terry's testimony is not credible, because according to Terry, he was awakened by screams in the middle of the night and got up and went to the window. So in this period Terry is not wearing contact lenses. With the level of vision he just showed, probably even a few people at that time cannot see. Finally, the judge dismissed the assault charges against the redhead. After the review, Lily found Terry. It turns out she also noticed Lisa's actions, and guessed that the real witness is not Terry. Seeing Terry so protective of Liza, she admired Terry as a responsible man. She also guessed that Liza should be a married woman, but Lily reminded Terry that if he let the redhead get away with it, there may be another girl victimized. At the same time, the police launched a visit to Terry investigation. They suspect that Terry was not telling the truth from the beginning. Perhaps he was trying to divert the attention of the police to get rid of his suspicions. Terry was panicking. He persuaded Lisa to come forward and identify the red-haired man. Lisa said it was Terry who wanted to call the police and play the hero. She didn't want to ruin her life because of this. However, the next day the detective took Terry to the police station for questioning. After investigating the second victim, the girl had been at the bar all her life. No one at the bar had seen the redhead, but a waiter could prove that Terry was also spilled in the bar that night. But this is ultimately a suspicion that the police have no hard evidence, and Terry cannot explain much. Things have developed far beyond his expectations. Now he is really angry. Do not care whether the boss is at home. A phone call to the boss's home asked Lisa to come forward to help him clarify the facts. Lisa did not want to ask for trouble and hung up the phone. Terry did not care much to rush to the boss's home. From the babysitter, he learned that the boss had taken Lisa to the theater, so he went to the theater again. Terry's arrival surprised Lisa, but she said she had told her husband about the night, and lied to her husband that they had only had a one-night stand. The husband took the hat and chose to forgive, but neither husband nor wife wanted to get involved in this mess. Lisa simply crossed the line with Terry. Terry walked out of the theater helplessly but saw the redhead's car. He realized that Lisa was in danger and quickly ran back to the theater. But it was too late and Lisa was stabbed by the red-haired man. Lisa's husband saw his wife covered in blood and fell on top of Terry. The entire theater exploded. The red-haired man had already designed everything to complete the disaster and then strolled out of the theater. Fortunately, Terry escaped quickly to not be caught. Now he had to turn to Lily. Lily believed that Terry was not the one who attacked her, because when they first met at the police station, Terry looked as if he had never seen her before. The two carefully analyzed the redhead's pattern of target selection, finally came to the conclusion: victims are beautiful women who have been in the spotlight and received attention from the people around them. The odds were that the redhead would do it again, but Terry didn't have much time left. Lily decided to take the initiative, using herself as bait to lure Redhead back into action. Terry thought it was too risky, but Lily had her mind made up. Terry could not dissuade her, so he devised a plan to keep Lily safe, to prevent the red-haired man from recognizing Lily. Lily made a disguise, then followed the red-haired man into a bar. He deliberately scratches her head to attract the attention of the men. The red-haired man's desire to commit a crime was successfully aroused. Terry waited for a while and then stood outside the bar door and looked inside, only to see the red-haired man is quietly looking at Lily's wallet ID. Terry suddenly thought of the bar girl before she was killed. The red-haired man also secretly looked at the girl's bag of documents. That's how he got the victim's address. Terry enters the bar during the redhead's bathroom break to tell Lily there's been a change of plans. He guessed that the redhead would leave the bar before Lily. Then he breaks the lock on Lily's door and waits for the opportunity to strike. As expected, the redhead comes out and drives away. Lily followed him and drove back home. According to the plan, Terry was to call the police detective to Lily's home, but the only phone booth next to the house was occupied. Terry was worried about Lily's safety and was very anxious to talk to the other person. After discussing in vain, the two of them fought. At that moment, a patrolman passed by. Terry says he has an emergency and wants to talk to the detective. The patrolman did not listen to the explanation, ordered the two men to stand against the wall. In a hurry, Terry grabbed the police car and rushed to Lily's place. In the process, he used the pager to explain the situation to the police center and told them to notify the police detective. Lily did see the redhead's car in the underground parking lot. She took the mace and went upstairs cautiously. She found that the elevator had been destroyed and had to take the stairs. Unexpectedly, the red-haired man suddenly appeared from behind. Lily fought back and shouted for help. Maybe it was sprayed too much. The red-haired man was immune to mace. Fortunately, Terry came in time to save Lily. The red-haired man tried to drive away. Terry defied the car to stop. The red-haired man just drove out of the parking lot and hit the police detective who came to support. The end is good. The real killer is caught. Terry cleared his name and gained true love. Unfortunately, no one cares about the boss who inexplicably lost his wife. Well, that's it for this issue. If you like it, don't forget to like and follow. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.